They found that 70% of people experience imposter syndrome for at least some part of their careers or even early on as students, like in high school.
Awards, experience, Tonys, and this imposter syndrome still there, and you're saying it's healthy.
I don't know if it's healthy or not. I'm just saying that it's something that I recognize in all the artists I've worked with. It's only the people, social media, that says, when you walk onto a set, you gotta know who you are. You telling me you have the imposter syndrome, that means you gotta go into therapy and you gotta just find out, you gotta get some more confidence. It's not about confidence. It's about that feeling of always feeling you could be better. So I know the language of the artist, and the language of the artist is, someone's gonna find me out. I may not be as great as people think I am.
It's classic imposter syndrome, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna find me out.
And anybody who even wants to be great has that. But what it does is, of course, you have to have a healthy sort of approach to it. But what it does on a healthy level, it keeps you humble and it keeps you working.
Mrs. Obama, could we quickly touch on imposter syndrome? Because I know it's something you have spoken a little bit about.
Particularly for minorities, there's this feeling like because you've been told that you're not good enough, that when you're in a room, you're wondering, well, how did I get here if I've been told I'm not good enough? So you feel like an imposter in your own life. You feel like, especially if you've achieved success or you're in rooms that you're not supposed to be in because society has told you that, you think maybe somebody's going to discover that I shouldn't be here, right? Because imposter syndrome it's a thing in your head. It's just like self-confidence. It's just like, it's like any internal characteristic. Much of it is what you practice telling yourself. And if you've heard that you're not good enough, that's what you're practicing. I'm just here to tell you it is not true. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be doing what you're doing if you didn't belong here. I have been at so many powerful tables now. I've been a lawyer at a big law firm. I've worked at an academic university, been associate dean. I've been the vice president in community development at a hospital. I worked with the mayor in the city of Chicago. I worked in the Department of Planning and Development. I was First Lady of the United States of America. I've seen these seats. I've served on corporate boards. I've done it, not all, but I've done a lot. There are a lot of people who don't belong there. And every table, I thought it was me. And after a little bit, I'm like, nope, it's him.
But they
all
act
the time.
so well. They act like they belong.
That's because they've been told they belong there. They don't. But there's a presumption. That's what I'm saying. It's in his head, too. He's like, I belong here. And I'm like, no, you don't. The person sitting next to you was told, based on nothing, that he belongs there. And you were told that you weren't. Both things are wrong. Oftentimes, age helps you with imposter syndrome. So I'm 55 now, and I've seen it. I've been waiting to be as bad as people told me I would be, I've been waiting for when I was going to fall and mess up and fail. I've been waiting because that's what they said. So with all the practice of just going into the room that you weren't supposed to be in and being there and occupying those seats and just doing you and knowing that your thoughts are just as relevant, your experiences are just as important, that's the work you have to do if you feel like an imposter. Because he isn't giving up his seat easily. He isn't going to just say, oh, I understand you don't feel like you belong here. Well, let me make room for you. They're not going to do that for you. Because a lot of times they don't even want you there, even when they need you there. You're needed at those tables. So you can't sit there wondering whether you belong because you'll waste your time in those seats and you'll hold your voice back and you won't be able to make change because you're waiting for somebody to tell you that you belong. I'm telling you, you belong.
Do you ever feel like your fear or your inner critic is holding you back from your full potential, from really touching greatness? A lot of people feel like fear is holding them back from really stepping out there. They feel like they're being called to do, but a lot stop them. Sometimes you're confusing that fear with imposter syndrome. And a lot of people don't really know what imposter syndrome is. So we're going to talk about this in this video and break down the signs that you might have imposter syndrome. It's just really a dark place to be, a dark emotions to feel, but we're going to unpack all of that. But first, hey friend, welcome to my channel, Creating Elude Mental Gems. This channel is dedicated to leveling up in all areas of your life. So let us learn together, read together, but most importantly, grow together. Now, without further ado, let's hop into this video. Let's start first with what is imposter syndrome. Okay, so according to Forbes, it says, have you ever felt fearful about making a mistake or anxious about being seen as incompetent in your next presentation? If you're constantly feeling this way and you're not able to enjoy your wins, you may be experiencing imposter syndrome. They found that 70% of people experience imposter syndrome for at least some part of their careers or even early on as students, like in high school. People with imposter syndrome also found as imposter syndrome experiences continuous frustration and anxiety, being concerned that they're not good enough, that they will be exposed as incompetent, and that everyone else knows what they are doing, but except for them. As a result, they engage in self-sabotage, overworking, and depression. This is crazy. Have you ever gone into a workspace and you felt like everyone gets this except me? What am I not getting? I promise you, those people that you think get it be thinking like that too. They're not always super confident. Being confident in a workspace can take years of repetition, and really mastering your skill. And a lot of people, they're a jack of all trades, but a master of none. That's the saying, right? So they get into a whole bunch of things. They feel like imposters in this one thing and they give up on it and go to something else. And then they feel like imposter in this and they give up on it and go to something else. So you keep trying your foot. Like, comment below if you know some people that, hey, 1 minute they're in real estate. The next, they're a truck driver. The next, now they're flipping houses. Next thing you know, they're into lawn care. Next thing you know, they're selling bundles or something. I don't know. They just keep hopping from business ventures, never really mastering anything, hoping something will stick. A lot of times it's not that this person is just so inconsistent. They're so lazy. They're so this. It's not that. People like that tend to deal with imposter syndrome. And when they get into a field, they start to feel overwhelmed. Maybe I don't understand it. They go and seek something else that they feel is just going to come easy to them. But I'm here to tell you a hard truth. Nothing comes easy. Nothing comes easy. The most successful people will tell you that success comes with a lot of repetition in one thing. You have to, what's the saying? If you hit a tree in 1,000 different ways, that tree will not fall down. Like if you hit the tree in 1,000 different spots, you can hit a tree in 1,000 different spots with an axe and that tree will not fall down. But if you hit that same tree 1,000 times in the same spot, that tree will come down. And that is success. That is mastering a skill. That is working on things, is that you have to be consistent in one thing and not let that imposture when you don't feel good enough. Like that's even for school and academia. When you're in one major, you feel like I'm just not getting this major and you jump to another major. And then when you that new one you jump to, you're like, I'm not getting it. So you jump to another major and then you're not getting that one. So you jump to, a lot of people keep switching majors until they just give up on school completely. Like, you know what? This was not for me. I tried it. It's just not it. Blah, 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 blah. It's that inner critic. Okay.
There are so many people now who say, listen, when I was 19, 20 and I started my career, I wouldn't do A, B, C, or D. And I told my agents, unless you get me a great role, I'm not gonna get out of bed. I'll stay home and eat ramen noodles. 99.9% of the artists I know do not say that. They just take the role. They take the role because every role is an opportunity to be better. It's another opportunity to learn your craft. And let me tell you something, you're learning your craft more with crappy material than you are with great material.
Now, I love this article from Forbes. This one was written by Luciana Paulise, and I have it linked in the description for you guys if you're interested in checking it out. Because I was doing research on imposter syndrome. I got a request from a subscriber on Instagram where we went a little bit more in depth on it. And I just wanted to make sure I do my due diligence and really speak on this because I know how sensitive this topic is. See if you check any of these boxes. With number one being you work too hard, okay? You overwork to cover up your feelings of inadequacy and end up not managing your time effectively, right? So you want to prove to yourself. Something that comes with that is they feel like they can overcompensate these feelings by overworking. You have to prove yourself, and the best way you can prove yourself is overworking. And a lot of the successful people will tell you that working smarter is not necessarily overworking. A lot of successful people got to this point of success where they're not even working as hard anymore and they're making millions and millions of dollars or thousands and thousands of dollars. They're not working as hard because they spent the years mastering that one thing that got them to the point where now it's just they don't have to kill themselves to make a whole bunch of money, right? But you're still constantly working hard, trying to find something that sticks because that imposter in your head. Number two is downplay your knowledge, abilities, or skill. Therefore, try to get as many certifications and diplomas as possible to showcase your values to others as you feel you are not enough. I used to suffer with this a lot, and I can proudly say I don't suffer with that now. I've learned how to combat it. And I'll tell you that one of the things is to master things and know that every person who's an expert started as a beginner. Okay. If you get into a piano, if I have any musicians here, once you first started playing any instrument, you just wasn't unless you were a savant, you started tapping around, learning the keys, learning the notes, and then eventually you keep at it, repetition, repetition, repetition. You become brilliant, right? In anything you do. Any person who's an expert was once a beginner. Once I keep telling myself that every time I feel inadequate, hey, I'm just starting out. Hey, it's okay. I'm going to master this, no matter what it is. Ladies, think about it. When you first started wearing makeup, if you're a pro now, didn't your face look this? I used to look crazy when I wore my makeup. Crazy. Okay, crazy. But over time, you do it so much, you start to learn tips and tricks, right? You cook. I love to cook. When I first started cooking, boy, I sucked. But over time, I learned tricks. I learned how to not make my rice too soggy, learn how to make my meat tender and stuff like that. It's just repetition. But imagine if I cooked for the first time and I'm just like, it sucks and then it's not for me and I gave up. I'm like, no, I got to eat. I have to eat and I want to eat healthier. I want to learn how to make them tasty. You keep at it until it gets better. Everything in life is repetition. Trying to get so many degrees to prove something to yourself is not the way to go. Number 3 is seen as a perfectionist. Looks over every single detail and checks your email, papers, and exams 1,000 times to ensure that are perfect. Of course, you never feel they actually are perfect. You feel the pressure to perform at your best in every circumstance. And when you don't, you feel incompetent or anxious. I used to be like that. I'm not like that anymore. I used to be, if something was just not perfect, delete, start all over again, do this, whatever, even with videos. Before I started YouTube, thank God, I already dealt with my imposter syndrome with school because I was really into my academics. That was where I struggled, right? But by the time I got into the work field, I just wasn't that obsessed with perfectionism to where I'm like, I'm just going to do it. If it sucks now, next one will be better. But I learned from each one, right? So a lot of people that suffer with imposter syndrome are perfectionists, and perfectionism is what will hold you back from really stepping out and getting you to that next level. It really will. Like sometimes, if you've seen some of the biggest YouTubers on here, I'm just using that as an example because that's what I know best. Some of the biggest YouTubers that I know, oh my goodness, I can't think of, the name is right, Mr. Beast, for instance. When you look at Mr. Beast's story, how he started with just a phone, a light, like a little lamp. He was holding it and stuff. That's how I started on my other channel. That's now like almost at 400,000 subscribers. I started with just my phone, a lamp, and I had my phone on a bookcase. That was how I started. And to know that Mr. Beast started like that too and stuff like that, so many other, and now Mr. Beast got the most subscribers. I mean, his subscribers is crazy in the 100 millions. And you're like, imagine if he just didn't start. Because it's not perfect. I don't have a ring light. I don't have a camera. I'm like, imagine if I didn't start. And I'm telling you, I gained over 110,000 subscribers on that other channel from just my phone on a lamp. So fast in a year. I had so much passion. I was putting out them videos. I did not care. The content was great. The light was terrible. The editing, still now, I'm not the perfect editor, but you just do it. And that reminds me even of Jordan and other people that were great, like Michael Jordan and stuff, that when they started, they weren't perfect. Jordan would keep doing the same shot over and over again, practicing his threes. That's what you talk about with repetition. He just didn't step on the court and was perfect, but he kept going. And I'm telling you, if you wait for things to be perfect, for this perfect circumstances, you will never get to really do anything because it would never be perfect. You will never be perfect. I remember, I'm not encouraging anyone to have kids because I don't have any kids, but when my friends try to encourage you, get married, have kids so fast, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And if you say, the time is not right yet, I'm waiting, they always say, the time will never be perfect. You will never know when you're ready. You just do it. You just did it. And that is so true, right? Because a lot of them, I'm around a lot of happy moms. Not every mom loves, some mom regret having kids. Not these that really love being a mom. Like my best friend loves being a mom. That is part of her identity, okay? She loves being a mom. And she never thought she was ready to just do it, but she just did it. And she has the most perfect child, So to me, it's like, I get it. If you get what I'm saying, you never really will be ready for a lot of things in life. And if you wait for the perfect conditions, you never will do it. So you just have to do it while it's imperfect. God loved us even in our imperfections, right? He's not waiting for us to be perfect in heaven to love us, okay? I just had to throw that in there. But fourth is seek mentors and constant feedback. That is external validation of your performance to find out ways to improve and feel better. That's something I have with people in my life personally that I know still suffer with this. I keep telling them, like, I'm not going to put this all out, but I have a friend of mine who wants to write a book, but she wants to hire editors, get feedback, all of this stuff, doing all this. And I'm like, sis, write the book. A lot of people put out their books. True tea, they don't even have editors. They put out their ebooks, Instagram, they just learn, or they'll have someone close to them do it. Learn your grammar the same way, just do it. And it's like, you know all the stuff to do already. You did all the research. You know how to get it done. Like, I'm telling you, she has all the research, all the right ingredients. Everything is ready to do it. But she just doesn't want to do it. She just doesn't want to do it because she wants all these feedbacks from people and stuff like that. And it's just like, I feel my heart breaks because I'm like, oh, she's so competent. She has a lot to say. And in this field that she wants to write the book, she is so knowledgeable in it. Like, I can just see such greatness in it. And I'm like, just do it. But I understand the fear also. And that's what breaks my heart, because what do you say to that? You know, you need people to constantly, it's like, how many times do you need to hear a speech to do it? Or you need to go and hire someone just to validate you for something you could already do because you're scared? You know, getting mentors. I always tell people, the business of motivation is a scam. Motivational speakers. A lot of y'all getting scammed with these motivational speakers, conferences, even books. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people are paying thousands of dollars to go sit and hear someone motivate them. Imposter syndrome. They play on your imposter syndrome because motivation is internal. You know what I mean? They're not really selling you the formula on how to make money. They're just motivating you. And you can get that for free on YouTube. You don't have to go sit there and listen to someone motivate you. You're looking for mentors. You're paying hundreds and thousands of dollars to a lot of influencers, gurus, a lot of motivational speakers to mentor you. Imposter syndrome. You can get those things for free from audiobooks here on YouTube, from working on yourself, validating yourself, working on your imposter syndrome that you feel like you need someone to constantly hold your hand and mentor you. This is one of the reasons I don't offer mentorship to subscribers and stuff for a fee and stuff. It's not anything like that, but in my day-to-day life with like youth at my church and stuff, I'll do that. I feel like my mentorship is my videos. I don't want to abuse people in that sense, to be like, you know, and I'm not knocking it, because there's people that are not there yet in their healing process that really do need the mentorship. But also understand, if that's not the case for you, you just have imposter syndrome and you need somebody to validate you, you don't need to pay for that. There's people that may really need that. And there's mentorship for like how to dress, how to put colors together, color theory and stuff. I'm not talking about those things, you know, but like y'all paying motivational speakers there was a conference that was being had. I'm not going to say about who, but I had a friend that wanted to go to it, and it was in the thousands just to sit for 2 days to hear this person speak for an hour. I was in disbelief. I was like, am I in the wrong business? Am I in the wrong business? That's where I was at. But I do understand it. But I want you to deal with the core. If you feel like you constantly need motivation from people, you're not self-motivated to get up and do what you have to do, say, let me deal with the core here. Why am I like this? There's something there that I need to deal with. And then if it's imposter syndrome, let me deal with that. Because once you tackle your imposter syndrome, you won't need that. And you're going to save thousands of dollars and not buying these motivational speaking books, going to their conferences, etc. Okay, true tea. Next thing is compare to others. Why others got a promotion, more money, or better qualifications than you? You want to be the best. Comparison is the thief of joy. But a lot of people with imposter syndrome cannot stop comparing themselves. And if I'm still here, me and this person went to the same school, got the same degree, like, why are they a little bit more advanced than me and I'm still in the same position? Like, I feel like I'm moving slower than everybody else. What is going on? They could question a lot. You know, it happens to the best of us with comparison. But again, I don't know. I dealt with this in school so much that by the time I got into the real world, it was still a struggle. You know, you still compare, and there will always be times. But I feel like that saying sounds so cliche. To be your own competition sounds so cliche. But like I say to myself, if I say you see your life like a game. Like a lot of millionaires will tell you they see money like a game. Making money is a game to them, right? It's a sport. It's a sport. They don't take it too seriously. They do take it too seriously, but it's like a game. You see life like that, the more successful you are. If I went 4 days and I worked out 4 days, I'm the type to compete with myself. It's like, okay, I have my little Fitbit here. If I did 10,000 steps this week, next week, I'm going to compete with myself to see if I can get to 12,000. Until now, I'm averaging about 20,000 steps a day. Where do I have the time? In between, I have my stepper. While I'm working, I'm doing that. Then I'm on a treadmill. Sometimes I go for a walk outside. Like, I get the steps in. And there's been a transformation in my life, It's just been a lot, but you compete with yourself like that. Say you make a certain amount of money if you work for commissions or you work in sales or something. Oh my goodness, this week I made 5,000. I used to work for a sales company. And when you make a certain amount, say you make 5,000 this week, like next week, I'm going to push for 6. After that, I'm going to push for 7. You compete with yourself. When you do that, you're not looking at nobody else. Okay. If you were able to do 50 crunches today, do 60 tomorrow. If you are able to read a book, like compete with yourself. How many books can I read in 1 month? How many books can I read this year? Last year, Audible showed me I read 11 books. Let me try to shoot for 13 this year. Do stuff like that. You won't have time to compare with people. Like compete with yourself. Compare your stats with your previous stats. And you'll be a lot happier for it. And you'll grow naturally and be where you're at because you're only tunnel vision. You see in yourself. Next is lack of confidence when showing your accomplishments, speaking or contributing, afraid of being seen as silly or ignorant. Like you don't like to talk about your stuff. You feel like, no one cares. I look ridiculous. It is what it is. What, girl? Be proud. You accomplished this. Like I know people that lose massive amount of weight and you're like, be proud of it. Why are you still thinking nobody cared? It's like you remember, don't live in the shadow of your past self. Okay, be proud of your accomplishments. You work hard for that. Like people that went to school and got their doctorate's degree and you have that doctor in front of your name, I don't care what it is. It's always a sign of respect for me to call you doctor, whatever your name is. I just feel like you work hard for that. You went to school for that. You sweat for that degree. You know what I mean? That even if my friends that are doctors just get so annoyed at me. It's like, Korean, could you just call me this? I'm like, no, you work hard for that, girl. I would never take that from you, doctor, this, that, and the third. It's just a sign of respect. It's not bragging, but a lot of people just want to, no, be proud of your titles. Be proud of your accomplishments, which you did, because you did that. You did that with God. God did that for you. Always give the good Lord credit, period. But also don't shrink yourself. Let your light, like the Lord said, if you have a light, will you cover it? Or will you put it at the top of a hill so everyone could see? I know the metaphor. You have a light. You're not going to cover a light. Let it light the whole room. Maybe your story will be inspirational. Somebody found out about all your accomplishments. Oh, I can do that too. They look up to you. They come and ask you how, this and that. That's how I get a lot of young people in my community. I want me to mentor them because I'm not dimming my light. They see it, Kareen, how can I do that? Okay, come, let me teach you, But if you dim yourself all the time and you don't want credit for stuff sometimes, like, come on. Next is struggle with pressure and tend to underperform in extreme circumstances. Whenever there's deadlines, you don't do well with deadlines. You deal with imposter syndrome. You don't do well with pressure, imposter syndrome, because you start to feel, I can't accomplish. That voice, that inner critic will come. You won't be able to accomplish this in this time. You overwhelm. And the way I used to deal with deadlines and pressure like that, I'm a big sticky notes person, especially when I worked in an office. Sticky notes would be all over my office wall, like tasks to do, and I'm checking them out, step by step. It's something in Haiti they teach you when you're cleaning, because you get overwhelmed cleaning. And we had to clean. Haitians parents don't play about cleaning. As some you do. You can't be a salop, okay? But they tell you, go little by little. Focus on the dishes. Don't be doing the dishes 1 minute, then you go sweep while still you didn't finish the dishes. And while you're sweeping, you stop real quick to put this up. You'll never get the house done. first, let me start with the kitchen. Let me wash the dishes. Let me wipe down the counters, this and that. I'm done with the kitchen. It looks great. Now let me move to the living room. I do all that. It looks great. Then you move to little by little, that overwhelming task starts to just be completed so easily. But take baby steps. Don't just do it all together. Next is see the world in terms of extremes. You are the best or the worst. You did everything right on an exam or everything wrong. There are no grays. You can have extreme highs when you have imposter syndrome. You can be like, oh, I did great with this, da 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 da, and then you have extreme lows. There's like an imbalance there sometimes. It's not consistent. So someone with imposter syndrome is not just totally always feeling inadequate. They can have moments of confidence, but it's rare. And you know that confidence in some other area, they're going to have a moment where they're not as confident. Next is tend to be a people pleaser. Focusing more on doing what others want and expect to get validation. Oh my goodness. Yeah. People pleaser here. But yeah, it's really something because, yeah, the best advice I can do, especially if you're Christian, the Bible says the Lord did not give us a spirit of fear, but a spirit to overcome and to conquer, right? So whenever you're doing something and there's fear attached to it, know that this is not from the Lord. Let me check myself. It's not from the Lord, right? When I constantly tell myself that fear that cannot reside in me, in anything I do, I'll go boldly before the throne and claim that in the Lord's name, if it is his will for me, anything I do, I'm relaxed in doing it. And if it does not work out, what's the worst thing that can do when you try and it doesn't work out? Then you just know that wasn't his will for me. That wasn't the direction I was meant to go. Everything will be as it should be. That's the balance of life. You will all end up where you're supposed to end up. And if something didn't work out and it's just really not for me, then when I move on to the next thing, I didn't move on because I quit halfway because I couldn't figure it out. It just really is not for me. That's not the direction God wanted me to go. And I learned to pivot and then find a new direction. That's all it is. You can have a million rebirths in life. And in the metaphorical sense, you can, recreate yourself so many times. You don't have to just be one person. You can try different things, but really don't just try it out of a fad or to be so quick, but be consistent at whatever you say you're going to do. People should know you as something too, like a master of something. What can people say you have mastered? Ask yourself that. What can you say to yourself that you have mastered? Have I mastered this field? No. Okay. This is how I want to be seen. If I want to be seen as this, I need to master this skill. Do you feel me? But I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching this far. Please thumbs up and leave a heart in the comments. I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time.